Rockets. One of the most impressive feats of engineering, which is used for launching missions to space. Not only this, but rocket science has taught humanity many tremendous things, and space travel alone forced us to build many technologies which we use in our day-to-day life. But do you know that the sound of a rocket launch can be lethal to your health and the rocket itself? So let us discuss, why doesn't the sound of a rocket launch kill you? In today's video of DiscoverZen. Can the sound of a rocket launch kill you? Well, actually the answer to that is yes. But how does it do that? To know this, we first need to take a quick look at sound itself. In physics, sound is defined as a vibration propagates as a wave through a transmission medium such as solid, liquid, or gas. That means in space, you can't produce sound because space is a vacuum. In human physiology, the sound is the reception of waves and their perception by the brain. Only acoustic waves that have frequencies lying between about 20 Hz and 20 kHz are audible to humans. But audible means the two extreme ranges the human ear can perceive. In this case, 20 Hz in the lower end and about 20,000 Hz in the upper end. Normal conversation is at about 60 decibel. A lawnmower, a bit louder at 90 decibel, and your neighborhood-friendly loud rock concert sits at about 120 decibel. In general, sounds above 85 are pretty harmful, depending on how long and how often you are exposed to them and whether or not you're wearing hearing protection such as earplugs or earmuffs. We start to experience pain at 125 decibels and louder, while 140 decibels and up can quickly cause irreversible ear damage. Now you would think that 85 decibels, which is in the harmful range, is just 25 decibel increase from the 60s of normal conversation. This doesn't make sense, right? Well, in decibel terms, the increase is exponential, meaning that a double in loudness corresponds to roughly an increase in 10 decibel. Doesn't matter whether the increase is from 40 to 50 or 70 to 80 decibel. Rockets generally dump lots of fuel to get out of the atmosphere of Earth. That is, convert chemical energy to generate thrust. But as we know, at least on Earth, nothing is 100% efficient. So chemical reactions actually produce a lot of heat and sound energy as well. And in the case of Saturn V rocket, it produced 204 decibels of sound, which is one of the loudest sounds ever recorded. At 20 meters from the rocket nozzle, an observer might be experiencing 182 decibels effective loudness, the equivalent of more than a pound of TNT detonating 15 feet away, or 1 ton of TNT detonating 150 feet away. Survival would be extremely unlikely. The wind force would be over 100 miles per hour. Buildings would be torn apart. It would become very, very hot from the sound pressure alone, compressing the air. At 2 kilometers, you will experience around 140 plus decibels. Here, you are reaching the closest you could come without near instant permanent hearing loss without hearing protection. You would feel similar amount of force from the sound pressure of a football player tackling you. Your throat and vocal cords would start vibrating along the sound of their own accord. The air temperature would drop only a few degrees from expansion. So these sounds are not just fatal for human beings or other animals, but they can be harmful to the rocket itself. Generally, launching sites are well equipped with sound suppression systems. Sound suppression systems either absorb or deflect the acoustic energy or high-intensity sound waves that are produced during a rocket launch. Now, let's look at the sound suppression system used by NASA and other space agencies to tackle this problem. NASA's earlier sound suppression system was not very effective, so they came up with a new one for the Space Shuttle program that proved to be very effective. The new system from NASA made use of water. When the engine lifts up from the launching pad, a huge amount of fire gas is exhausted from the flame trench along with sound energy of high intensity. Thus, NASA's launch pad consists of large water tanks. These are huge gravity-fed systems. They dump 300,000 US gallon or 1.1 million liters of water through this tower at launch at 6.6 seconds before the main engine is ignited. This all comes through a 7 feet or 2.1 meter diameter pipe connected to the mobile launch platform. Water flowed out 6 12-foot high or 3.7 meter towers known as rainbirds onto the launch platform and flame trench below, emptying the system in 41 seconds. And when the sound waves meet water, the bubbles of the air absorb them. Further, these bubbles contract and heat up, hence converting the sound energy into heat energy. Also, at the base of a space shuttle solid rocket booster were these large water bags made up of nylon. These water bags were used to prevent shock waves and were about 1 foot wide and 1 foot deep each. Thus, by using these two techniques, NASA is able to reduce the intensity of sound waves from 200 decibels to 142 decibels, which is equal to that of a jet taking off. This technique that NASA uses not only protects the surrounding area from shock waves, but also prevents fires that otherwise might be caused from the exhaust of the rocket. The sound suppression system used by Russia is actually very different from that of NASA. Russia launches its rockets from Baikonur in Kazakhstan, where temperatures are really low. During winters, the temperatures can fall down to negative 40 degrees Celsius. In these conditions, the water spray systems would completely freeze up, causing significant damage to the surrounding area. Thus, Russia's launch pad is made above a large flame trench. The flame trench is so large that it doesn't allow the shock waves to reflect back and damage to its surrounding environment. Using this technique, Russia is able to lower down the acoustic pressure that is produced by the engine. JAXA, or Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, seeks to achieve the world's quietest launch from the Noshiro Rocket Center in Akita with the installation of a sound suppression water system as well as a sound-absorbing wall. Sites for launching large rockets are often equipped with sound suppression system to absorb or deflect acoustic energy generated during a rocket launch. Even today, companies like SpaceX make use of NASA's sound suppression system because remember, the sound energy can be reflected by the launch platform and pad surfaces that could potentially cause damage to the launch vehicle, payload, and crew. And quite frankly, that is the last thing that any company wants. So this was all about the sound of rockets and various sound suppression systems that are used around the world by different companies and how it plays a major role in reducing the sound produced from a rocket launch. Now, instead of us giving you our typical boring outro, we are going to leave you with the space shuttle's last launch and landing. Enjoy.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis on the shoulders of the space shuttle. America will continue the dream.
Program, Houston.
Roger, roll, Atlantis. Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time. Engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call.
Atlantis, go at throttle up, no action, DPDT. Go at throttle up, no action on DPDT.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore, a transducer, instrumentation only, no action required. Atlantis now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. Atlantis traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange. Standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35 miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange. Standing by for main engine cutoff. Booster officer confirms main engine cutoff. For the last time, the space shuttle's main engines have fallen silent as the shuttle slips into the final chapter of a storied 30-year adventure. Now standing by for external tank separation.
Atlantis, Houston, you are go for the RPM. Go to proceed inside 600 feet.
Houston Station, Atlantis on the big loop, initiating RPM in 3, 2, 1, mark. We copy.
Houston copies.
With that, Commander Kris Ferguson now will begin the slow 3/4 of a degree per second rotational backflip. This again is about a 9-minute maneuver. You'll hear the start photography call initiated when the orbiter is in the correct orientation of this procedure. The actual R-bar pitch maneuver will last about 9 minutes in duration. About 93 seconds of available photography for Sergei Volkov, Mike Fossum, and Satoshi Furukawa.
Station Atlantis on the big loop. Start photos. Starting photos.
And with that, a period of about 93 seconds of good photography now initiated for Sergei Volkov, Mike Fossum, and Satoshi Furukawa, using digital cameras and high-powered lenses out of the Zvezda service module. The rendezvous officer indicates to Flight Director Quatziela Barujo that Commander Kris Ferguson has flown a textbook R-bar pitch maneuver. And you can see the structure of the International Space Station now coming into view as both spacecraft pass over the limb of the Earth. Atlantis coming up on the so-called V-bar, the velocity vector.
Atlantis, Houston on the big loop. The teams have been pulled in concurrence. You are go for docking.
Atlantis on the big loop, copies. Go for docking. Houston and Station Atlantis on the big loop. We don't see a flyout. We're initiating final approach.
Houston copies.
Station copies.
Pilot Doug Hurley informing both station and shuttle flight control rooms that no flyout is required, meaning no additional alignment required. Commander Kris Ferguson is dead spot on with the two docking mechanisms perfectly aligned. Contact, docking confirmed. Capture confirmed at 10:07 a.m. Central Time.
Houston, Station Atlantis, capture confirmed, and we see free drift.
Station Atlantis, Houston, station free drift is confirmed.
Atlantis arriving. Welcome to the International Space Station for the last time. Maneuver on time.
Now looking over the shoulder of pilot Doug Hurley on the flight deck of Atlantis, this pilot point of view camera. Atlantis soon will be going subsonic. Our first view through infrared cameras at the Kennedy Space Center. Commander Kris Ferguson now flying Atlantis. Piercing the pre-dawn sky as the space shuttle announces its arrival at the launch site with its signature sound of twin sonic booms having gone subsonic for the last time.
Houston.
Copy, Atlantis. Field in sight.
The pre-flare maneuver executed. Landing gear down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Hurley now deploying the drag chute. Ferguson rotating the nose gear down to the deck. Nose gear touchdown. Having fired the imagination of a generation, a ship like no other, its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time. Its voyage at an end.
Mission complete, Houston. After serving the world for over 30 years, the space shuttle's earned its place in history and it's come to a final stop.
We copy your will stop, and we'll take this opportunity to congratulate you, Atlantis, as well as the thousands of passionate individuals across this great spacefaring nation who truly empowered this incredible spacecraft, which for 3 decades has inspired millions around the globe. Job well done, America.
Hey, thanks, Butch. Great words. Great words. You know, the space shuttle's changed the way we view the world, and it's changed the way we view our universe. There's a lot of emotion today, but one thing's indisputable. America's not going to stop exploring. Thank you, Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Endeavor, and our ship Atlantis. Thank you for protecting us and bringing this program to such a fitting end. God bless all of you. God bless the United States of America.